hacked. Why should anyone care about it? Why do you think it's important to pay attention to this platform and cover it?
Because, I mean, they're siphoning, they've already, I do think that Kick is kind of on a downtrend, and I think even the creators have admitted that themselves. But, you know, they're hard to ignore when they're assigning people like XQC for $100 million reportedly. You know, that's more than like some of the top athletes make.
I mean, there's so many competitors, right, that like come up, especially that have tried to come up against Twitch. What is it, Mixer that signed Ninja? Like, Mixer, this other platform, at one point paid millions of dollars to Ninja, another big Twitch streamer, and then went out of business. And then Ninja, I think, went back to Twitch. But I think that even when they fail, I mean, Truth Social is another good example of like one of these like alternative social platforms that's largely a failure, I would say. I think they still shift online culture in kind of a dangerous way. Yeah. And you see a lot of this Kick content propagated on other platforms, right? Like Twitter.
Yeah. Well, there are entire accounts on Twitter where it's like Kick clips, you know, and like every day they'll post like 5 clips of some random streamers that you've never heard of that maybe have like 17 live viewers at a time on Kick, you know, that will then get thousands and hundreds of thousands in some cases of views. So yeah, I mean, it just kind of has this ripple effect where although not many people may see it on Kick, so many people see it on Twitter because Elon really doesn't crack down on anything like that. So,
well, I think the extreme clips that they post, that they repost, it's like it's made for sort of like short form outrage content. Whether you're like one of these like little boys that's a fan of these people and you're like, yeah, you know, screw that lady at the restaurant.
Yeah, own that Walmart employee.
Yeah. Or you're just like outraged by it, in which case it gets comments and engagement and ultimately fame.
It gets talked about by other YouTubers, you know. So, but it's like, but what's the alternative? Like not talking about it? Like it's so hard because it's like. It's so hard to ignore because every day, I mean, you're seeing something else about some idiot Kick streamer doing something insane. I don't know if you saw this. There's a Kick streamer that lit a bunch of fireworks next to a sleeping homeless person. And that guy, I just checked, he still has his kid, you know? It's like, because it didn't get enough attention. Not enough people talked about it. There's like one tweet about it, 1 or 2 tweets that don't have the most attention. He's just going to keep doing stupid stuff, you know, because it's like, maybe that didn't get enough clout, so he's going to make something else that gets more clout, you know, and that's all it is. It's just a race to the bottom over there.
Yeah. And who are the people that are watching this content? Like, what is the demographic?
I don't really know. I mean, I would have to imagine, because I haven't, like, looked. That's the other thing. Kick is very, like, gatekeepy about their demographic, about their, like, you know, data and stuff, and who all use, how many people use the site. I don't really know, but I would have to imagine there couldn't be anybody older than like 15, you know, 16, probably late teens. Like you touched on, like younger men who are just kind of like lacking in any type of direction. Like they don't really have any purpose, they feel like. And so they just kind of turn to this kind of content and they think it's funny. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's like 11 and 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Maybe 13, I guess, if they're old enough.
It's got to be pretty young. It's got to be pretty young.
Because they're watching 19 and 20-year-old, like so many of the Kick streamers themselves are children almost.
Exactly, yeah, that's a good point.
So it's like children farming outrage content for other children.
That's a pretty bleak sentence right there. yeah, but it's true.
I guess I wonder kind of like where it does go from here. Can it become more mainstream? What happens if Kick shuts down? What happens to all these people? What other platforms do you think that they'll... You think it's just going to be a big win for Rumble?
No, I think there's probably going to be... I mean, who knows? Because it feels like every few years there's a new one that pops up. So it's like there could be maybe like by 2027, 2028, there could be a brand new like platform that we don't even know about yet that is basically the new Kick, you know? Like, I just feel like that's going to keep happening.
I think live streaming in general is becoming more and more pervasive, like as a content format.
Yeah.
What will be Kick's ultimate legacy?
I think you kind of touched on it earlier where you said that it kind of, it speaks to a whole new, like shift online where it's like this kind of content is becoming more accessible and more normalized across all different platforms, because even though they might not be on YouTube, people will talk about it on YouTube, but it will get re-uploaded to YouTube. It will get a ton of attention across YouTube, Twitch, people that react to it over there, TikTok, where clips are posted there, you know, Twitter, where that's another place where it can get millions of hits. So it might happen on Kick, and not a whole lot of people might see it on Kick as it's happening live, but millions and millions of people will see it everywhere else. You know, and that does kind of create a shift in the culture, and it kind of desensitizes people to the insane things that they can see, and it does normalize it, where it's like if Aiden Ross does something crazy, you're not as shocked by it anymore because he's been doing it forever and ever and ever. And I don't know, yeah, it does kind of usher in this new wave of internet culture that I haven't really seen since 2016. It's really shifting back in that direction, and I wasn't expecting it, you know, and the way that it's happened has been very interesting to watch and also depressing, but yeah.
Yeah, ultimately it's very dark, but I think it is really back to like prank culture 2016, which is also kind of what like the earliest internet thrived on. Like, I don't know, there was tons of beheading videos and gore and crazy stuff, and you would sort of see extreme stuff, but yeah. I feel like we have reverted, and it's pretty bad. And I think the internet is such a mix of content these days that there's no one isolated platform. Like, it's easy to be like, oh, well, that's just happening over there. And it's like, but that's not how the internet works. Everything bleeds into each other. And these people are all part of the broader influencer ecosystem. These people are also at Hollywood parties with like mainstream content creators. And as long as you can wield attention, there are going to be athletes, music artists, anybody, marketers, brands that want to reach that audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If the numbers are there, then yeah, everything else is going to fall into place for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and breaking all of this down.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Up next, we're talking about NATO's big influencer push in DC this week and the first full-time content creator running for U.S. Senate. Hey, Zach, how was your 4th of July?
Hello. It was great. I spent it in Portugal, so not in America. How was yours?
Heaven. I did nothing. I went over to a friend's barbecue, and then the Sunday of 4th of July weekend, I spent the day at the new Christian content creator house in LA.
What are they up to at the Christian content creator house?
Making videos for the Lord. I spoke to a bunch of them. I'm writing a story about it, I think, eventually. But yeah, basically it's a bunch of, you know, extremely Christian content creators that want to get together and collab for Jesus.
Amazing. I hope they're TikToking in tongues.
Yeah. Other stuff I've been working on. This week, NATO brought dozens of influencers to Washington, D.C. to meet with some of the most powerful officials there. The State Department and Department of Defense also brought a bunch of content creators. They're all in town this week for the big NATO summit and 75th anniversary of NATO.
This year, NATO is hosting its summit right here in Washington, D.C., home of the U.S. Congress and the White House.
And what are they doing?
Well, they're meeting with a lot of high-profile people. They were at the White House. A bunch of them interviewed Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and they're meeting with other sort of high-profile NATO officials to hopefully help NATO reach younger audiences. I talked to a bunch of international relations experts, and they were saying basically America's become increasingly isolationist. Young people don't really care about NATO or our foreign policy, or think that rightfully, we've had kind of disastrous foreign policy over the past few decades, so this is sort of an effort for NATO to rehab its image.
Awesome. And you wrote another story as well. You've been busy this week.
Yeah, I wrote about Caroline Gleich, who is a Utah Senate candidate. She's actually running as a Democrat for Mitt Romney's seat in Utah. She is the first full-time content creator to run for U.S. federal office. So she's trying to get a bunch of campaign finance rules changed. Basically, the way that a lot of these FEC rules are structured is not really conducive to the career of an influencer. For instance, taking a salary from the campaign, it's like mostly calculated off people that have full-time income or own their own business or have like a steady paycheck. So it's also kind of unclear whether or not she can do sponsored content in the blackout period up to the campaign. There's this 90-day period where you're not supposed to appear in any commercial advertisements if you're a federal candidate for office. So she's hoping that the FEC will issue this advisory opinion in the next week or so, clarifying these rules and hopefully making it so that other influencers can more easily run for federal office.
Yeah. Also, her latest bill will be brought to you by MeUndies.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So how do you feel about this? You're probably pro creators, right? I'm assuming.
I think that this is a major job, and I don't think that people who have this sort of untraditional work should be shut out of public office. I think actually it would be pretty beneficial to have people that understand these platforms in Congress. I mean, even just to have one senator that knows how to turn on a computer would be huge. Coup, I think, for the country. Also, just to advise on tech legislation. We keep seeing these horrible congressional hearings where senators are asking, you know, like, do you condemn Finsta? And sort of like how, you know, falling for dumb TikTok challenges. So I think having someone with basic digital literacy could be really helpful, and maybe craft some labor protections for this $500 billion industry that's completely unregulated. I think it'll be interesting to see how the FEC kind of navigates all of this. It's sort of such a new realm, and I think there's just a lot to be clarified.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Zach, but the YouTuber Logan Paul is suing other YouTuber and investigative journalist CoffeeZilla for defamation. CoffeeZilla has done, I would say, some of the best coverage of crypto scams out there, and whether you're looking at the traditional media or just on YouTube.
Right.
This man has done just incredible investigative work, and specifically around some of Logan Paul's crypto endeavors, like this thing called Crypto Zoo, that would supposedly feature virtual eggs that hatch into virtual characters that could breed with other virtual characters and somehow be worth crypto.
Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked. Some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. I've uncovered sociopaths, billionaires, fake orphans.
So CoffeeZilla made several videos basically alleging that this project was a scam. Logan Paul promised to refund everyone's money, and the two of them have been going back and forth on all of this.
And now Logan Paul has filed a defamation claim against CoffeeZilla?
Yeah, exactly.
You're always talking about the importance of journalism and institutions that back journalism. A thing that comes up all the time when you're doing investigative journalism are lawsuits, right? You, of all people, you get sued all the time. But you, Taylor Lorenz, aren't the one getting sued. Now it's the Washington Post who has your back because they have a whole legal team.
Well, they're suing me, but the Washington Post or the New York Times or other places that I've worked will defend you and cover the legal issues. I don't know what CoffeeZilla's situation is, but
it's probably way different because he's not part of this, like, a larger journalistic institution. So this is all to say why we need journalistic institutions, because if everyone is just doing it solo, they're just going to get sued out of the business, right?
Yeah,
you can sue someone for anything. So it's how powerful people silence less powerful people, usually through suing them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, literally deal with that on a regular basis as a journalist. And like you said, these lawsuits can be totally baseless, but I think it's up to this person now to defend himself. Also, I just think the work that CoffeeZilla has done, it's just been incredible. Like, every mainstream crypto journalist knows who he is and knows that he's one of the best investigative journalists on YouTube. So I think it's worrying that we're seeing a lawsuit against him already.
I agree.
More Twitch streamer news this week is that Sketch, who's a content creator who became really famous for playing Madden, was the subject of, I would call, a smear or hate campaign. It came out that he had an OnlyFans account a few years ago, and images of him having sex with men were leaked. This set off the worst homophobic attacks that I've seen on the internet in a while. It was disgusting what people were doing and saying about him. I was really heartened to see big content creators come to his defense. Sketch even said that FaZe Banks really helped him and is part of the reason he's still alive. I saw Hassan come out in support of him. I just think this guy does not deserve any hate. I'm 100% Team Sketch on this situation.
Yeah.
Like, it's just horrible to see this level of homophobia.
Yeah, as a fan of hip hop, I am so used to this kind of stuff. Anytime it's revealed that a rapper is gay, you see like a lot of the same kind of stuff. I actually didn't know this Twitch streamer, but yeah, especially he's playing a football game, Madden. So I just imagine the fans of his who are watching him play a football game are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so much homophobia still ingrained in the sports world and the esports world, but also just Twitch generally, like Twitch culture, I think it's really disappointing. So I was really happy to see, like I said, those big creators coming out and supporting him. And also it just breaks my heart that he felt so bad, or like this is something that he needs to be ashamed of. I would hope that we could live in a world where it's not a gotcha to say that you have an OnlyFans or you're gay.
Right.
You know? Those are two completely fine things that people can engage in, especially content creators. Yeah, it just broke my heart, and I think it's important to just remember how much homophobia is ingrained in the live streaming community.
Yeah, I hope he's okay.
Another article about social media that was getting tons of traction this week was this big New York Times piece that came out by Natasha Singer about a group of kids bullying their teachers through basically making fake accounts of them on TikTok and pretending that they were pedophiles, smearing them, all of this stuff. These were all middle school students in a pretty affluent Philadelphia suburb, and this all blew up in their face. They got in trouble. They had to take down these 20 or so accounts where they were impersonating the teachers, and hundreds of students interacted with this content before the perpetrators were suspended. Teachers in the New York Times article were talking about how demoralizing and hard this is and how they shouldn't have to deal with this stuff on top of the classrooms. I had kind of mixed feelings about this piece. First of all, I think Natasha Singer is one of the best journalists working today, so it was an expertly reported piece. What I wished that she included a little bit more of is just the broader content. Like, this is not a TikTok problem.
Yeah, have you ever met a middle schooler? They are mean as shit. They are so mean. This is not a story about social media. This is a story about middle schoolers being mean. If I had access to these tools in middle school, I probably would have done something similar, right? Because that's just where you are at that age. But the problem is they do have access to these highly powerful tools that we didn't used to, right? But there was always rumors about teachers that middle schoolers would be spreading. It's just now we have social media and smartphones, and you can just kind of supercharge it in a way that...
But there's no evidence that this did spread. I think actually because it was on TikTok, it seems like it was found out sooner because it's sort of like public and people had enough people had interacted with it. I mean, I'm thinking of Yik Yak. Do you remember Yik Yak, the anonymous?
Yeah.
Teachers, I mean, there was so much vicious slander on there about teachers. When I was in college, we had a Facebook page for one of our professors that somebody ran that was this like group page people contributed to, making fun of him, posting things about him that were, I mean, in retrospect, pretty defamatory. It was mostly like wholesome, making fun of him, but I think young people, especially middle school age, they have no concept of like consequences or, how stuff like this affects people's lives. So
right.
I think the technology is going to change. I mean, we could see AI deep fakes of teachers soon enough, so I think rather than focusing on TikTok, is the problem. And not to say that that's what Natasha did, but that's kind of like how a lot of people were taking it. I think we need to fix the problem. And I also don't agree with people that were just like, oh, it's just let kids be kids. It's like, okay, let kids be kids, but this is totally unacceptable behavior. Yeah,
completely. Yeah, to me, it's kids being mean and then the technology that allows them to be mean. And you put those two things together and it's explosive. But yeah, I don't think it's specifically TikTok. You could easily use 10 other things to be shitty.
Yeah, and that's what I worry. And I just also worry that the way that the article is being taken, especially by people like Jonathan Haidt, my nemesis, is like, this is the reason to ban technology, ban smartphones. Like, okay, ban smartphones in school, sure. I mean, there's reasons why people don't want to do that. And I think actually it's worth a discussion of sort of the benefits versus the cost. But either way, kids are probably doing this at home at night, right? Or like on their iPad or out of school. Like banning tech use in school or at home, it doesn't always even stop this type of stuff. And I think that we need to also recognize how technology is evolving. Anyway, I hope these kids grow up and think about what they've done. That sounds very boomer, but...
Yeah, I need a 1,000-word essay on my desk by tomorrow.
Make a TikTok, an apology TikTok.
Yeah.
Another thing I think it's important to note is that kids take cues from the adults around them. And I think, especially since the pandemic started, just in the past few years, we've just seen this erosion of empathy. And I know a lot of people like to blame it on social media, but I feel like we live in this hyper-individualistic, hyper-capitalist society that sort of prioritizes, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and never relying on anyone, never caring about anyone. And I just think if we lived in a more interconnected, empathetic world, and if the adults who are raising these kids showed more empathy, taught their kids empathy, we wouldn't end up in situations like this. Thanks so much, Zach. That's the show. You can watch full episodes on my YouTube channel, Taylor Lorenz. Power User is produced by Travis Larchuk and Jelani Carter. Our video editor is Brandon Kiefer. Our executive producers are Zach Mack and Nishat Kurwa. Power User is part of the Vox Media Podcast Network. If you like the show, give us a rating and review on
I make $200K a year.
I'll take 3 objectives on your
$200K a year.
Assault
Like,
them at your
tie me to the
discretion.
stake. Like, I am not this all-powerful millionaire that you think I am.
I'm Taylor Lorenz. Welcome to Power User, where this week we're talking about snark subreddits. In 2021, Lily Chapman started posting sewing videos to TikTok.
All right, this is where we're at right now.
Allied
It is
forces on
cropped,
Zone B.
and the zipper is ripped out. I'm considering adding buttons. I went to check my button collection.
To her surprise, she picked up a pretty decent following, enough to become a full-time influencer. Now she has more than 1 million followers across social platforms. She shows off her style, travels, and documents her day-to-day life. It's usually lighthearted, but recently it's become more serious.
My name is Lily. I'm 25. I'm a content creator. I'm 8 months pregnant. And over the course of the next week, I'm going to be posting some really detailed videos about my experience with cyberbullying and snark.
Lily, like many influencers, has a snark subreddit dedicated to her. It's full of people who mock and criticize her relentlessly. Lily says members of this community have harassed her and even tried to kill her sponsorship deals. But she did something most influencers have not been able to do. She fought back successfully and got the snark subreddit taken down. I'm talking to Lily up next on Power User. Hi, Lily. Welcome to Power User.
Hey, Taylor. Thanks so much for having me.
So you posted this wild story to TikTok recently about this campaign that has been waged against you for months, stalking and harassment campaign, largely primarily driven through Reddit. When did you start to realize that there was this entire community on Reddit dedicated to stalking and harassing you?
Yeah, that was a crazy realization. I don't think it really sunk into me until it would have been early 2023. I was newly with my now fiance, at the time boyfriend. And I actually remember so vividly, we were on a trip together and he was like, so I Googled you, like when we started seeing each other, like you have like a snark subreddit. And I was like, oh yeah, like I've seen like there's threads about me. And he was like, no, you have like your whole own subreddit. And I was like, oh, that doesn't seem great. So actually, like he kind of is how I became made aware that I had one dedicated just to me. And then just like genuinely, it felt like in a matter of weeks from when I posted his face for the first time and he kind of made me aware of it, is when I started to realize, oh, these weird hate comments that I'm getting are tied back to this community. And like from then on, it was literally like the happier I got with him, the more active and involved, and therefore the more aware of that Reddit community I had become.
Were you familiar with Reddit snark pages before you became an influencer and before this started to affect you directly?
Not at all. And it's funny because I had actually posted about Reddit on TikTok before. I used to love Reddit. I was a total Redditor because I have 3 older brothers. And when I was in middle school, I was on 9gag, which I don't know if you remember, of course. I was very online as a kid. And so I have had a Reddit account since like literally I was like 14. And I used to love like Ask Reddit threads and, just kind of obscure subreddits for makeup or travel.
But you weren't in the snark Reddit world.
Never. I had never even heard of it. I didn't know what snarking was. I was completely unexposed to that part of the internet until it was directly affecting me.
Can you kind of explain some of the things that they had accused you of and how you had sort of successfully debunked it? Like, here's what they accused me of, and here's the truth.
So my snark subreddit will say that I berated a homeless man, that I sent a mob after a creator who was simply holding me accountable, that I lied to my audience, that I am a pathological liar, a narcissist, and a slew of other untrue things. The reality here is that I got my passport back from a man who stole it, who happened to be homeless. I addressed a lie told about me on a public platform by another creator, and these people see my joy and happiness in life and will do anything to twist it into something nasty that fits their narrative. None of the lies they've ever said about me have had even a grain of truth.
How did it go from a few hate comments here and there on your TikTok videos to this entire community dedicated to sort of watching your every move?
So it started with 2 things that I noticed at the same time. One was a ton of comments from someone who would comment on the exact same thing thousands of times a week. And the other was that this hate community on Reddit started to have a very real impact on my life. And these kind of happened in conjunction. So I noticed the hate comments first, and then I realized that that person was in the Reddit, and I messaged the moderators of that Reddit to be like, hey, I have a stalker. They're in this community. Can you try and lock it down? The moderators of the hate community basically said, no, like, we're not going to help you at all, which isn't shocking because it's a hate community. And from there, things just really propelled. So because I had interacted with the moderators that one time, they decided to say that I was lying about having a stalker. And for the next 6 months, they just kind of got worse and worse and meaner and meaner, and more people started to join. And they got to about 2,000 members. And then after about, like I said, 6 months, in December of last year, they figured out that my father-in-law is a very successful man, and I had never shared about his career on my platform because it's nobody's business what he does. And once they put that together, their hate really accelerated. And then someone went on to TikTok and made a video about it, and that drove thousands more people into the subreddit. And then an ex-fling of my fiance posted a bunch of lies in the subreddit, and that post took off, and that narrative took off, and it just kind of spiraled into this really unmanageable ball of complete lies that went from Reddit into every social media in the world. So it was on TikTok, it was on Twitter, they've made YouTube videos, and it just completely spiraled out of control.
Yeah, I feel like once these sort of influencer drama narratives take hold, they spread across the internet, and it's really hard to combat them. And if people want to believe something about you, there's almost no amount of evidence that you can show them proving it's false that will make them believe that it is false or misleading or they don't have the true story. And I just want to say I am so sorry that anybody would ever accuse anybody of faking a stalker. I mean, it's so unfortunate what happens to women in those situations. It can actually be very dangerous if they're not believed. How did you respond? Because I feel like, you know, in a lot of these instances, the advice, the old school advice is don't feed the trolls, never respond, right? But if you don't respond to an internet rumor, it often spirals out of control and becomes reality to a lot of people. How did you manage this, and what steps did you take to combat it?
Yeah, Taylor, that's a great point. That is pretty much exactly what I realized. So for months, the advice that I was getting was, you know, just ignore it. They'll get bored. They'll die down. That is not what happened at all. Every week that I ignored it, it got so much worse. And the narrative got worse, and the lies got crazier. And the deeper that they got into their lies, the more that they felt it was appropriate to hate me. And the more that they felt it was appropriate to hate me, the more they felt it was appropriate to come after my friends, come after my family, come after every paid contract.
Hey guys, no videos today because I'm in New York City. No videos this week. I'm in New York City. I got my New York City coffee. I'm about to go into New York City pizza. Bye.
Inside Circle, listen to me, and I know you've listened before. You've had the Secret Service call me. I've briefed him on stuff.
I know the Trump Inner Circle does watch him, but it is funny to think that, like, he's briefing the Secret Service.
You got to take my supplements.
I briefed the Secret Service. I told him a Chinese communist trans black woman was going to take shots.
Moments away from hearing President Biden. He is going to stand at that podium, and we believe this is in Delaware. Somebody can confirm for me. But he will address the nation about these events tonight in Florida. The shooting that apparently wounded former President Trump, who is said to be okay. It killed a spectator, wounded another who's in critical condition. The shooter, who has not been identified, we know nothing about that person's background or what might have motivated him. That shooter is said to be deceased as well. This story has been rolling out, and here is the president.
Thoroughly briefed by all the agencies of the federal government.
Damn, that was quick.
Based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that the people and we have more detail to come relative to the other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to give it, if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well.
They're going to say he's not calling him the president, as former presidents are normally called.
Two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, and I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do, okay?
Mr. President, do you think there was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have
answer
any facts.
Questions, Joe.
So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make
Don't answer questions. You don't do it.
I want to say there's no room for this.
We got tickets. We went to SneakerCon instead.
Yeah, they got tickets for this rally. They were gonna go, and then they're like, "Oh, it's just gonna be kind of a shit video if we go. It's gonna be boring. We don't want to fly all the way out to Pittsburgh to do this." And then they turned around with the SneakerCon instead.
I think what's really so content brain that I kind of feel like I've been broken up with. You visualize like a separate future of what you could have been doing, and it's all gone.
Right after that, there's
well, I mean, it would have been a dangerous situation. You avoided getting potentially shot at. JD Vance is already blaming Biden, of course, predictable. Biden's campaign's rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. Yeah, remember, guys, Donald Trump didn't do January 6th, but even if he did do January 6th, those are patriots. Also, Biden directly is responsible for the assassination attempt. It's such a... These guys have literally no decency whatsoever. First of all, Biden is a cadaver.
Trump thinks Kamala Harris is. I mean, Biden thinks Kamala Harris is Trump. If he was going to kill anyone, you wouldn't know who it would be.
Hi, how do you secure that other person? How far do you go? Cover everything.
They got the shooter.
That means there was a breach in security and people had weapons, and like that seems so weird that he would get back up.
Yeah, dude. He got back up to throw up a fist because Secret Service W on that one. They were like, yes, Mr. President, go ahead, throw up your fist.
You're good to go.
Dude, Israel bombs Damascus all the time. You guys are crazy. I'm sorry, but it's like a man bites dog versus dog bites man type situation. Okay? Like, chatters were like, dude, by the way, Israel's bombing Damascus is a crazy thing to say right now in this moment when the former president had an assassination attempt. Okay?
When was the last time this happened?
This is Ronald Reagan. Oh, well, other people have been like congressperson been shot. The third in line, Steve Scalise was shot at the congressional baseball game. But like last time a president or a former president that's like running for re-election, last time a president was shot at was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was shot at, and he survived. And I mean, yeah, like someone attempted to fucking kill Bush, I guess, by throwing a shoe at him, but that's not it. Like, that's not what we're talking about.
That happened like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, there was the Bush shoe projectile, but like, American presidents have not, you know, have not had this this kind of like a serious attempt at their lives in quite some time. Vice President Harris, they're all saying like, we're glad he didn't die.
Getting me in the car.
I don't know. I mean, that's it. That's what's gonna happen. Like that's what they're gonna say. Like no one's gonna be like, I can't believe the motherfucker is. Like no one's gonna say that. You know what I mean? That's what you're expecting. Like I'm telling you, is not. Also, the other thing, this is pretty funny. people basically are trying to say this, okay? The Republicans that are coming out and being like, this is because of Biden's rhetoric, are basically like unironically saying this meme is real, okay? Biden was like, no, we beat Medicare. So I was like, thank you. The Manchurian candidate was activated, okay? The Manchurian candidate was activated. Is like, oh yeah, he said the right sequence of words and it unlocked the part of someone's brain.
Please like bird.
Anyway.
Friendly forces on Zone B.
No, there's no way I live through this. Like, I don't know.
They did miss those.
My brother texted me said, this is a historically significant event. You should consider putting on a shirt. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Compromised.
I got a right to bear arms, baby. It's the United States of goddamn America. You know what I'm saying? Trump attempted deep state assassination. Yeah, let's hear from the...
Gentlemen, I told you that we're not in normal times. World War III, nuclear war is this close. They just fired 5 shots at Trump and hit him on the side of the head. And the media's like, oh, big deal. He's around an assassination attempt. This is crazy town. Biden is a complete puppet. The New World Order is melting down everywhere. And I believe they're getting ready to kill Biden and blame it on Trump supporter. I've been saying that for over a year. So President Trump in Pennsylvania
up there,
shot at, gets hit in the side of the head.
So wait,
I would say the opposite.
Yeah, you've been saying the opposite of what is about that. What just happened?
Allies securing Zone A.
He's like, I've been saying they're gonna try to assassinate Biden and blame a Trump supporter. It's like, okay, well then the exact opposite of that happened. So what do you mean? He needs to pay the Parkland family. He's got to make the money somehow. Yeah, he's so good, bro. That looks like neatly trimmed hedges behind him. Like, what's going on?
He's in a nice place.
Yeah, how is he still at a nice house and shit? I thought he was done. Like, what's that about?
That image of him up there with the blood on his face, defiant, is incredible. And now the deep state that's committed all these crimes and opened the borders and human trafficked and started World War III, they are so desperate, they're going to go for broke. But I've told Trump, I've told his campaign, you've got to be more careful. We got to pray for President Trump right now. It's such dangerous time. I'm in Northern California with what would be a huge story breaking tomorrow, and it's still going to break. Massive story we're working on right now, okay? Secret mission. And it will still break it. But, ladies and gentlemen, this attempted assassination of Trump means we're not in Kansas anymore. And now they've tried to kill him with a gun. They're going to try to poison him. So Trump, inside circle, listen to me. And I know you've listened before. You've had the Secret Service call me. I've briefed him on stuff. Listen to me.
I know the Trump inner circle does watch him, but it is funny to think that, like, he's briefing the Secret Service. Like, okay, brother, sure.
You got to take my supplements.
I'll bring it. He's like, listen, I briefed the Secret Service. I told him a Chinese communist, Ukrainian, Chinese communist, Ukrainian trans black woman was going to take shots at the president.
That's why I always take my anti-assassination pills.
Yeah.
You can get them for $5.50.
I told him, yeah. What the
We're in a period of a few different streams of information.
Twice. Listen, lightning never strikes twice. You know what I mean? Like, he already survived one assassination attempt. He's probably good for, like, at least a year. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt that he's going to get popped twice. That'd be crazy. Feel me? The king is talking. Said, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement. He truthed. Okay, he's truthing right now. For their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act could take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter. I'm shocked that he didn't immediately say, like, this was a Chinese, Ukrainian black woman who's also trans. Like, it's actually, this is shocking. I don't know if I don't know if that shot concussed him into, like, doing a normal thing all of a sudden. But like, this is a wild way to operate here. Nothing is known about this time of the shooter, and he's not speculating, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and I immediately felt a bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America.
You finish that with God bless America.
God bless America.
God saved him.
Better resolution. The shooter was a right winger. I doubt that the shooter was a right winger, dude. Oh, don't do the liberal version of what the Republicans are doing. I mean, I see it. Like, I see the photo, and he's got one of those like grunt force shirts on. Okay.
I mean, I got those as well.
But like, yeah, he's got one of those like grunt force ass shirts on. You know, those like military LARPer yee ass shirts.
Military fatigues as well. The pants are kind of like khaki.
Cocky? Oh yeah, he does.
You guys don't say that?
Khaki. The Lord wants him to be president. Anyway, yeah, he was far. He was like, he was not a part of the the rally. Like he was on top of a container, which is crazy. That's a major L for the Secret Service, for the record. Like, actually,
just someone being up.
You got some homie with a rifle on top of a goddamn container taking pot shots at the president. Like,
it was 100 meters away. That's not that.
Okay, all I'm saying is this: that guy on the Tyler Oliveira video was right when he said someone's gonna try to assassinate the president.
Yeah,
he said 6 miles away though.
He says 6 miles away.
A little bit closer.
150 meters, 400 feet.
150. That's like that's more than.
But you're a pro. You'll bounce back.
Oh shit. Well, there you go.
Law enforcement snipers were already facing the direction of the shooter seconds prior to the shooting. I'm amazed they did not see the shooter crawling into position for
that's a
mere 400. Yeah, by the way, this is literally the reason why it's like so funny in a very serious, very obvious way. This is hilarious to be like, I can't believe the violent rhetoric. I can't believe the divisiveness. It's like, meanwhile, this was on the poster behind them. Like, he was making arguments about how like undocumented migrants are coming in and invading the country and doing like, you know, doing violence and madness. Senior reporter covering investigations at Capitol Hill for ABC says the shooter at the Trump rally fired as many as 8 rounds from an AR-style rifle while perched on a rooftop adjacent to the venue. Law enforcement sources told ABC News. Shooter was 200-300 yards away at the time of the gunfire, the sources said. This is where the shooter was, it looks like. Yeah, he was on top of these like container things. Yeah.
A massive space.
Wait, he's so close.
No, he's like literally looking right at him, which is crazy.
Insane.
Where's Mark Wahlberg when you need him the most? How the f they now have agents on the roof? Yeah, I don't really know. Anyway, update from Secret Service is that 1 has been killed and 2 is critically injured. Here's the latest information from our investigation. We're grateful to the Secret Service team and our law enforcement partners. During President Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on the evening of the 13th of July at approximately 6:15 p.m., a suspected shooter fired multiple shots towards the stage from an elevated position outside the rally venue. U.S. Secret Service personnel neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. Mike Collins, GA. The Republican District Attorney of Butler County, PA, should immediately file charges against Joseph Robinette Biden for inciting an assassination.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Dude, he's right. I don't know if he knows this, but the Supreme Court made that legal, by the way. It's gonna be all right, I think. Boardwalk already printed t-shirts. They are so, shooting makes me stronger. Bro, they didn't even think, like, they didn't even try to like come up with like a better statement.
Or maybe they had it printed before.
Yeah, it's an inside job.
I'm gonna investigate those guys.
Yeah, AI.
Casey, Dave, which of course we have gone on a better literally to what happened. Tell us what.
50 Cent posted it.
I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be.
Dude, he's coming out. There's so many cool songs he can use to come out on stage now. Like he could literally. There are so many songs about being shot and surviving. Like,
it's a very American genre.
Who shot ya? He could come out with that. He's gonna sweep Biden. You're cooked. First of all, I'm cooked. There's nothing I could do. I'm not the Democratic Party. No way he comes out with rap with his base. Yes, he's the new Republican Party. Elon Musk says 2 people have attempted to kill him over the past 8 months.
He's like, wait, people like me when this happens?
Yeah, he's like, oh, Trump. Someone tried to kill Trump. Only one person tried to kill Trump. 2 people tried to kill me. It's like, yeah, people try to kill me all the time too, bro. You don't see me chirping about it. Like, who gives a what do you mean? You survived, bitch. Like, he's like, damn, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, he just saw this and was like, how can I make this about me, literally? Very normal things happening on X. Try to assassinate. Why would they do that? Like, in your world, in your mind, on what planet do you think Trump is like anti-Israel? Because I know when they say Jews, they're talking like, oh, Israel policy, right? But like, Trump is winning, this is so anti-Semitic, obviously, but it's also so unimaginably stupid. Trump loves Israel. Trump is more popular in Israel than Joe Biden. What are you saying? Dude, modern Nazis are in a state of panic. They just refuse to recognize how much Trump glazes Israel. They're like, no, he's our guy, I promise.
Secretly, yeah.
You have to admit the blood and the raised fist picture goes hard. No, dude, that's the brother. I saw him get shot in real time. I saw him get up in real time. That was the first thing I said. I was like, it's so done.
Yeah,
it's over. Pack it up. The election is done today. This is the day that the election ended, okay? They're blaming the head of the Secret Service. Yes, DEI! They're saying it's a woman.
They shouldn't have put a woman in.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
She was guarding bags of Cheetos.
Is there a clip of your reaction? Yeah, it's both on my TikTok and also on my... You're not hood. Stop trying to be hood, bud. What? Stop trying to be hood. What did I say that's... What?
I think you said fam.
Stop. I don't say fam. This is... I never say fam.
They look at the director as if she had anything to do with like...
No, dude, you don't understand. She hates...
She said, guys, everyone underneath me do a slightly worse job.
Yeah, she's like...
That's my policy.
She said, I'm a woman. And as a woman, I like doing womanly things, okay? Which is doing my job, but worse. This is the 27th director of the U.S. Secret Service. They're saying because she's a woman that she's doing a bad job. What do you want me to do? Take this seriously?
Global security at PepsiCo. Okay, that's a job.
Yeah. Do you want me to? What do you want me to do? Take this seriously? I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. I don't believe that a woman Secret Service director is going to do a worse job. I do not believe that she was hired for the position specifically because she's
that was hardly by the
a
book,
woman,
Agent.
as implied by the right wingers. It's so funny that he said before, like Elon Musk literally hires people like this personally, so he knows how solid they are. You know what I mean? It's like, who's in charge of protecting you? So before being put in charge of protecting the president, she was guarding a bag of Cheetos.
Well, someone good's in charge because apparently someone tried to kill Elon Musk twice.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder, it'd be real funny if we found out that, like, you know, the people in charge of Elon Musk's security team also worked at Pepsi, like senior director and global security at PepsiCo. Also, yeah, he hired a woman. He hired a woman as CEO of Twitter. Fellow Aussie, think you and anyone who criticized Trump has blood on their hands?
I love Rita. She's so good.
Rita Panari.
She's like
every
Sky
single
News.
leftist. Oh, wait, this is the woman that... Is this
the clip
she covered
you.
me.
Yeah.
She covered me. Loony leftist Hassan Abbey came to Australia recently. Every single leftist from Biden to the CNN, the MSNBC and Washington Post, New York Times et al., activists to the celebrities who have called the man leading the polls a threat to democracy and worse, have blood on their hands.
It's so funny how happy she is that he got shot. Like the first person, like iconic. Like this is a beautiful moment.
Yeah. How was that accent? Oh.
I mean, only because there's a lot of people watching. It was very, very good.
Yeah, Hassan's really good at Australian.
It's funny, my mum just called me and was like, you need to get out of America.
Yeah, they're shooting everybody out there. I mean, she ain't wrong. Like, listen, if they're shooting president, like, you know, you as a rando, you're not safe. Right-wing narrative is clear. Yeah, they're just gonna say like, yeah, they're saying that like the left is responsible and that we should do to the left what they tried to do to Donald Trump, because they incited violence against Donald Trump by saying he's bad and scary. That's the only thing more tragic than what just happened is that, if we're being honest, it wasn't totally a shock. Biden's inevitable ritual condemnation of political violence today, when it comes, will be insufficient and irrelevant. Dude, honestly, there is nothing funnier than people who are Trump supporters being like, Biden is so violent with his rhetoric.
And he's so incisive with what he's saying. You know,
no, he's not. You know why he's not violent with his rhetoric? Because he don't know what the he's saying half the time. Okay? Like, what do you mean? Oh, it's so funny. Ay, ay, ay. Biden can barely stand up. He's so scary. He's so scary. We know when he says Trump is Hitler, it's like, that actually means like he wants to kill Donald Trump. There's no conspiracy theory off the table now. The most powerful force in the world would try to do anything to stop Trump from being president.
Then why would they get that kid? Like, why would they get that guy?
No, that's, you don't understand. Dude, that is such like a classic conspiracy theory take, by the way. Like the you know, the Secret Service is all powerful and was like interested in killing Donald Trump, but also they hired the guy who can't, you know, do a shot. Like,
also, like, if it's the Secret Service, they've got every other person who's so much closer to Trump.
Yeah. Why don't they just like dart him like a, you know, like the KGB or some shit? It just doesn't make sense. Are they tweeting this when it looks like he might be a right winger? I don't think he's a right winger. I mean, I don't know, but like, it don't matter. If that dude had a manifesto and was like, I'm killing Trump because I'm like further right than him, you know, it's still, they'd be like, oh, that's a Fed. They'd be like, that's a Fed. That's federal government. It's a federal agent. He's on the payroll. He's trans. Like, they'd be like, nah, he's a Ukrainian trans Chinese Hamas guy who's Jewish. Joe Biden sent the orders. Democrats, dude, Marjorie Taylor Greene literally has a campaign ad where she shot a 50 cal at a car. Okay, and I think the car literally had like the photos of Democrats on it. If I remember, I might be misremembering, or it might have just said like the Democrats or something. And now she's like, words are violence. You can't do that. You're Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, you're a rabid sociopath. I don't understand it. Oh, here. Yeah.
I think you showed it to us last year.
Yeah. The tweet is about action, not words. Dude, there is no salvaging this, okay? Democrats wanted this to happen. They wanted Trump gone for years, and they prepared to do anything to make that happen. Just as Congress represented Troy A. Carter, Barbara Lee, sponsored legislation to terminate Trump's Secret Service protection. Do you think, in all honesty, and I mean this with like so much sincerity, do you think Trump's Secret Service was terminated? Like, do you think Trump didn't have Secret Service? Do you think that Donald Trump has just been walking around without Secret Service?
Walking around with DEI Secret Service.
Yeah.
That's the real trap.
That's why they lost. Like, they're on the videos all over. Didn't say that. We're getting on that Indiana Jones. Dude, I love Republicans. I'm so glad that this brought back all the Trump supporters, because they're always like trying to debate on the dumbest virtues, on the dumbest talking points of all time, where they're like, they didn't mean that. They're actually secretly plotting to assassinate Donald Trump. That's why the Congress actually did this, and they successfully. She was saying they tried to, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter, okay? Because they failed. That's not why this happened. More pets. I know. It's exciting.
I love murder conspiracies.
Best headline ever. Biden makes statement after Trump rally shooting. It's sick.
That's what I said.
Yeah. It's sick, dude. That's what he said. Also, here's the through break now. Twitter AI is getting all the headlines wrong. Oh, dude, this is always funny. Vice President Harris shot, nation reacts. Actor Home Alone 2 shot at Trump rally.
That's good.
Trump rally incident. An ode to Jodie Foster.
Wait, why is Jodie Foster a thing? Is this a meme?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because Jodie Foster. So, the guy who shot Ronald Reagan and failed to kill him, they wanted to impress Jodie Foster. Pinkley. Yeah, he was Jodie Foster's stalker. It's happening already.
No.
President Trump, I await command. Small, weak, gay, liberal man destroy country. Try to attempt to assassinate. Not allow. All small, weak, liberal, gay men will perish at the hand of Manchu. Civil war immediate.
This is the Chinese guy the media was referring to.
All three of you in on upper or lower? Upper deck. All right, is there anything new happening? Or are we...
Anyone else got shot?
Here.
Joe Biden abandoned Americans in Afghanistan, got 13 of our best soldiers killed, gave a...
I can't get over that. It's like, those were our best soldiers. Like, if they were the shittiest soldiers, I wouldn't care, but those were our best soldiers, okay?
Kill list of Americans to the Taliban, and armed an Islamic terrorist nation with $83 billion in weapons like this one. Biden should be impeached. Now I'm doing a gun giveaway of my own, but for Americans only. I want you to win this.
Oh, man. God damn it, dude. I'm a part of the Taliban, and I was really excited. I'm a big Marjorie Taylor Greene fan.
50 caliber rifle that Democrats will ban if they keep the House next year. While Joe Biden broke America's pledge to never leave a man behind, Nancy Pelosi is sneaking the Green New Deal into the $3.5 trillion budget. And in 2022, I'm going to blow away the Democrat socialist agenda.
Dude, someone needs to make this into the Trump shot. Someone needs to cut Trump on the other side going, ah! You have to do this. Oh, she's shooting
That's all right.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Go to the website below and sign up to
greengun.com.
I wonder who won.
The guy. The shooter. Nah, dude, if we were shooting Trump with a 50 cal, the entire podium behind him would have been pink and purple sprayed. Marjorie Taylor Greene could be disarmed by a Kong full of peanut butter thrown down a hallway. Yes.
What's that?
Chew toy that you can put peanut butter in. The dog's life. Oh, that guy won the gun?
Wait, you know him?
Damn, no, but they don't even give him the scope. Like, what the hell? That's kind of ass.
That's pretty mean.
Enemy spy has a lock on your position. This shit's sick and fast.
If you want me to eat poop, I need you to subscribe to my channel, get me 1 million subscribers plus. For you guys. And you guys love poop. And you guys love piss. And you guys love arguments. You guys love drama. Well, I got that for you. If you want that, I'll do that for you.
When it comes to crazy and disgusting individuals online, Andrew Ditch is argued to be one of the worst in this category. Aptly nicknamed the Poop Squatch, Andy Ditch is a nearly 40-year-old man that fakes autism, has an affinity for wearing diapers, an obsession with feces, and is an absolute nightmare to the family that he lives with.
And I think I'm pooping myself, damn it. I'm pooping myself. I'm pooping myself. I'm gonna break this so I don't have this. I can't want to live anymore because you're pulling me. He freaking threw me. You're pulling me. Please let me throw it out. It's my shit.
You're having a temper.
Please, I want to throw it out. I don't want to have autism anymore. I'm tired of it, Dad. You keep promising me. Oh my God. Ouch! My back! I want to get my sneakers, Dad, so I can go run away. Please, I want to get my sneakers since you fucking called me a fucking fake! And you hurt me!
Andrew is one one of the more insane lolcows on the internet and has done things no other person we've covered before has, like trying to murder his entire family by overdosing their coffee and food with laxatives and Epsom salt.
A man from the city of Tonawanda faces 3 felony charges accused of spiking the food of several of his family members. Police say 34-year-old Andrew Ditch put Epsom salts and laxatives in the food and the water reservoir of the family's coffee machine.
Yes, that is 100% a real thing that happened. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the story of Andy Ditch, the autism-faking poop squatch. Andrew Ditch was born on June 7, 1985, making him a 39-year-old man. The early life of the poop squatch was troubling, to say the least. When Andrew was a child, he was diagnosed with PTSD and was hospitalized on multiple occasions for attacking.
I'm 44. Born in 1980. Looking good. FYI. I should delete this video.
His family members, and one of these attacks was an alleged antifreeze poisoning on his father Tom. That's right, even as a child, Andrew had an affinity for trying to poison his family members. At one point, Andy would get a job at McDonald's as a Ronald McDonald performer. While riding his bike to work one day, he would be hit by a car and left in the street with some serious injuries. This is a short video of Andrew's father Tom describing the accident.
And he's riding his bike on Hines over by the apartment and Fletcher. And we got a phone call. We're sitting down to eat dinner. Come and see your son if you want, because otherwise he's going to be dead. He's laying in the middle of the street. So we raced out, got in the car, went over there, and he's laying in the middle of the street. He got hit by a vehicle, hit and run, and he's laying there, you know, his whole face is all bashed up and everything. And we had to call the police and the ambulance, get him to the hospital, all 9 yards. And they said, well, other than the collisions, bleeding, and probably a concussion, he should be okay. And ever since, we've always questioned whether or not he had brain damage. Get this, Andy used to drive. And he used to have his own computer business in our house. And he was high rated with the Better Business Bureau. And he was an amateur weather meteorologist. And he locates storms at the airport and all these other things. And all that stuff, and all the stuff he was interested in, and he loved the snipers. Lost interest. Can't do it. Can't function. No more.
Now, in that video, his dad mentions the fact that at one point, Andy had the ability to drive and live on his own. He even says Andy would start running his own computer company that was called A Best PCs. And this is true. Andrew posted videos on YouTube that demonstrated his knowledge about computers, and it's in these videos you can hear him speak normally.
I'm Andrew from A Best PCs here. I'm going to show you how to hook up a wireless network into an existing single connection computer internet connection. So what you're going to need is a wireless modem, or I'm sorry, a cable modem or DSL modem, something like this here. This here happens to be a Motorola Surfboard SB6141, which is a DOCSIS 3 cable modem that can support up to speeds up to 300 megabits per second download. Then you're going to need a wireless router, something similar to this here. Some routers, you won't have to install antennas, some you do.
Andy was also an amateur weather reporter, according to his dad, and he would even chase storms apparently too. And I can't stress this enough. All of this was after the hit-and-run accident. Andrew wouldn't regress into the degenerate, poop-obsessed nightmare he is now until he couldn't make it on his own and had to move back home with his family. Now, I know his dad, Tom, questions whether the hit-and-run accident has something to do with what happened to Andy. And I also know it can take years for a brain injury to develop after an accident, so this could be possible. But I truly think Andrew Ditch is just a lazy, ignorant, and vindictive person with an incredibly disgusting fetish that he actively tries tries to force his family into participating with. Another popular opinion is that Andrew has Munchausen syndrome. Munchausen syndrome is a mental health disorder where you falsify, exaggerate, or induce physical, emotional, or cognitive disorders. And by the end of this video, it's likely you will subscribe to one of these 3 ideas. Once Andrew returned home with his family, this is when he began to start faking his disabilities. You see, Andy's whole MO is to claim his family is mistreating and abusing him. He will film his interactions with his dysfunctional family, and then he will upload these videos to YouTube as evidence of abuse to try and garner sympathy from anyone who will come across his channel. Here's a time Andrew tried to throw out his medications and diapers. His brother Joe and dad tried to stop Andy from doing so, and this is what ensued.
I want to throw up my diapers. I don't want help anymore. He said I didn't used to do all this shit, so please throw it away. Why are you forcing me to have
Obviously, Joe, a lot of it was destroyed.
Yeah, I destroyed my medicines. He said I don't need them. I don't need help.
So, good.
I don't need your help.
It makes it easy for me to get it out.
You said that I don't need help. I used to do all my stuff.
You're going to disturb the meeting because if you're misbehaving, uncontrollable.
I want that thrown away. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't have autism. I fucking faint.
Good.
Can you please let me throw it out? It's my shit.
You're having a temper.
Please, I want to throw it out. I don't want to have autism anymore.
Oh, well.
Please. I don't want diapers anymore. Please. You're forcing me to do something I don't want because you're hurting me.
Andy, if you wouldn't act like this, Andy, if you didn't act like this, we wouldn't have this problem.
Do this shit. I'm calm. You're calm. You're instigating me. And you're being allowed to do this to me, and I'm asking you to please throw it out.
You're right.
I don't want it anymore.
I
don't want them anymore, please. It's my stuff, please. You say I don't need it, please.
The reality of these situations couldn't be further from the truth. Nobody is abusing Andrew. The truth is, Andy wants his elderly parents to be his full-time caretaker. That's right. He wants his dad that is rarely ever seen without a back brace on, and his mom that is on oxygen and in worse shape than his dad, to wait on him hand and foot. And because Andy's parents refuse to do this, he sees that as abuse. Andrew is so serious about trying to make his parents his caretaker that he has even tried taking them to court to make them legally required to change his diapers. Not kidding, he actually tried to do this. Andrew has an obsession with diapers and poop. This is the reason he has earned himself the nickname the Poop Squatch. It has been discovered Andy has accounts on diaper fetish websites and openly talks about how he likes the feeling of poop in his hands. Here is a conversation Andy recorded himself and posted online telling his dad how he likes poop and how he even likes their family's dog's poop.
You talk about the poop smear? I got poo in my hand. After throwing my poopy diaper out because they refuse to help me. You got me the diapers and medicine and food.
How sick you really are, because normal people, especially your age, would not even attempt to do that. I can't hate the thought of doing something like that.
Dad, I'm not gonna lie, I always did like to feel through my hand. It's a smell I have trouble with. It's a smell I have trouble with. Tucker's poo is pretty good feeling most of the time. I gotta go. But no, that smells.
Get some Play-Doh, homie.
For stupid me picking up Play-Doh. No, it's not Play-Doh. That's gross. You're gonna tell me
I'm so sorry.
having autism is sick, right?
No. What you're doing is sick. That's not right. Don't even smile about it. Get that smile off.
I am not sick.
It's disgusting.
Okay, you know what? There goes my autism thing. I'm laughing at you.
Imagine birthing and raising such a disgusting creature. Andrew has also pooped himself on camera, and this incident is one of his most infamous moments.
Relax. I think I'm pooping myself, damn it. I'm pooping myself. I'm pooping myself. I didn't even know I was recording this.
And these are just a couple reasons why Andy has been nicknamed the Poop Squatch. There are plenty of other reasons too, like the time Andy defecated inside his father's truck, or the time Andy was staying in a hotel and decided to rub his poop all over the walls and windows of his room when he was upset. But I don't really think I need to expand much more on why Andy has earned his nickname though, because I think you get the point by now. As I stated earlier in the video, Andrew's main focus online is documenting his quote-unquote abuse. Because Andy's family refuses to entertain his insanity, it often leads to arguments inside the house. Andy's brother Joe has his own YouTube channel where he documents these freakouts. Joe really can't stand Andy, and he's the one that puts up with him the least. If there's one thing that sets off Andy more than anything else, it's being called out for faking his autism.
And this is going on YouTube.
I don't care. I don't want you to hurt me anymore. Break. Oh, I don't want it. I can't want to live anymore because you bullied me.
He freaking threw me.
You bullied me. You bullied me, and the cops allow you to do it to me.
Okay, but we'll turn on living room lights.
Can you go upstairs? Please, I feel cornered.
No. No.
Please, I want to be left alone. You.
To see how the desk jockey's
Dad, I want to be left alone. You're bullying me. Please, I want you to stop. I want to get my sneakers, Dad, so I can go run away. Please, I want to get my sneakers since you fucking called me a fucking fake! And you hurt me! I want to get my sneakers, please! I'm calling police as you're not allowing me to get my sneakers. I'm calling the police as you're not allowing me to get my sneakers!
So I can destroy and make more money?
I'm running away!
I don't have anything better to do? And you don't?
You call me a fake, Dad!
Where are your sneakers?
I don't know! He's holding me hostage! I asked you to go upstairs!
Not holding nothing. You're telling me this is my
alone.
house. I can do what I want.
You call me
You cannot tell me what to do, Andy.
You abuse me, Dad, and I'm scared of you!
Good.
I'm scared of you because you abuse me! I'm scared of you because you abuse me, Dad!
This is November 4th at 10:53 p.m. 2023. 10:53. So in other words, I don't even talk to him in the morning for that. Yeah, he dumped the cranberry juice all the way. He dumped his cranberry juice down there into the dog food, destroying the dog food. That is destruction of property, I would say. No, I know, and it's for our animals. He's abusing my animals. So you can see there's remnants of the cranberry juice coming out, and it looks like it's leaking from the bottom of the dog bag onto the floor.
You want me to be bullied online. You abuse me mentally. And you want me to get hurt, Dad. You threw out my teddy bear because you say I don't need it. You called me a fucking fake. You ripped up my diapers and threw out my medicine because you
ripped up your diapers.
You won't follow the doctors. You call me a fake. I want to leave, please.
Walk out. Go out the back.
I want to go.
Go out that way.
Excuse me, please.
I'm here. I'm not going to be moving until I get done here. No.
I'm scared of you.
I don't care what you think you are.
Domination. This scenario is kinetic. Plan accordingly.
Now you might be wondering, Nick, how are you and everyone else so confident Andy doesn't have autism? This is because Andrew has literally posted a voice message from the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities detailing the fact that he doesn't have autism.
In February and March 2019, age 33, several psychiatric reports were completed by Trinity Medical, Western New York, KC, and Erie County Medical Center for Mr. Ditch, attached to 16.
Allied forces on zone B.
Reports indicate that Mr. Ditch had an autism spectrum disorder. None of them reference any testing to support this diagnosis. The Erie County Medical Center noted in its March 7, 2019 report, FWAPIC referral details. Per collateral, Andrew has an IQ of 80, central auditory processing disorder, and another processing disorder. He does not have autism.
And despite this being a known fact, Andrew still persists that he has autism and has done some heinous things to spite his family for not believing in him. One night, Andy overloaded his oil diffuser with essential oils and practically fumigated the house. Andrew's family was having trouble breathing, especially his mother, who I mentioned earlier, is on oxygen. He refused to turn his diffuser off, and eventually the police were called, who are very familiar with Andy and his antics.
And I called the police because when she came downstairs to try to eat, it was so strong. Problem and breathing problem. I had to put the oxygen out. He asked me to turn it off. He refuses to do that. This morning he came back and papers the same thing. He didn't joke. You can ask him if he has a test because they're trying to eat. They can't eat when it smells good. I have no idea. You'd have to ask him. He's videotaping us still.
I don't have to. You're not, is it court order?
We want to know if we can press charges because this is our home and it's bothering our breathing.
You didn't ask me to turn it off?
Just run a bad luck, operator. Shake it off and apply your training.
Is that order or is that a violation? You're going to arrest me for having my light on camera?
No, I'm asking you as a matter of human decency if you could stop shining.
Well, I did nothing wrong except for just trying to sit here and relax and trying to do good, and I'm being not allowed to have something that helps me relax.
Alright?
Be advised, Zone
Can
A
you stop
is
shining
danger.
light in my face, please?
I have a legal right.
You have a legal right, you do, but I'm asking you, can you please stop?
I want a lawyer. I need further communication.
Capture zone contested. Zone is ours.
Incriminating questions.
I have a legal right to a lawyer.
Okay. Well,
have a nice day.
Your parents have a legal right to not breathe in fumes in their own house. Okay? So I'm asking you to shut the oil diffuser off.
It's for my coping skills.
Hostiles on
And
zone
I don't
B.
have to answer to you unless it's a court order for it.
Andy, can you please not?
If there's a court order, is that a request or is that an order?
It has to be a court order. Why do you have to go up with this all?
Is that a request or is that a court order for me not having my oil diffuser that helps me relax?
You don't have to, you don't need that. Your parents have, your mother's on oxygen. It's bothering her, okay?
And I would have turned it off.
Your mother is on oxygen and has been hospitalized several times due to breathing problems.
Yeah.
She called to complain because this aggravates her breathing.
And she didn't even tell me to turn it off. I was on the phone with Great Services.
I'm asking you to shut it off.
Get a court order, then I'll do it.
No, I'm not getting a court order. I'm asking you to shut it off, or I'll shut it off.
Shut it off. And if you touch it, you violate my privacy.
It's bothering your parents. This is their house.
Okay, you're violating my privacy if you touch it.
Violating your privacy. How?
Because it's my property.
So, this is your parents' house.
Tell my dad to get my, as my representative payee to get my, apartment done.
What are you spending on?
B's in danger.
What's that?
On his diapers. Amazon. He spent all kinds of stuff on Amazon.
What are you buying on Amazon?
It didn't have to answer anything because Anna didn't have any problems with this.
All right, well, I'll call my lieutenant and see if this fits harassment charges, and if...
I'm not doing it to cause anyone to get...
Because your oil diffuser's on.
I'm not doing it to cause any intent. To cause anybody harm.
Bothering them, it doesn't matter.
And you don't have...
Since I walked in this store, you refuse to talk to me like an adult.
Because I don't appreciate you how you're treating me. You're discriminating against my disability.
Fine, you in jail then, okay? That's
Friendlies are winning. Press the advantage.
Throw me in jail for something, arrest me for something for I'm trying to do something to calm me down.
You want to be quiet? Because you know what? I asked you man to man if you would just turn it down and you refused. So this is what happens, okay?
Arrest me.
Here and you shine a light.
Arrest me. Arrest me.
Secure all
Because I'm
zones
just
from the
using that
opposing
to
force.
calm myself down. And you're not allowing me my coping skill, which is a discrimination-based arrest. Make sure your
Zone B
lieutenant
is
knows
compromised.
that you're denying me something that I
Zone
had no
contested.
problem using
Hostile
all
echelon
along.
just put their goggles on.
Because it's my coping skill. You can't just deny somebody right to help them relax.
Friendly forces
And she
on
didn't
zone
ask me to do it. She just unplugged it. I was on the phone with a recorded phone call. And it relaxes me.
Progress
If they
update.
yell at
High
me for
confidence
putting
in a
one drop
successful
of,
outcome.
2 oils in there, fine. Arrest me for it. For my disability again.
Allies securing zone A.
He's not doing it. He's just being defiant as usual. He's shining his light on his phone. I tried being nice to him. He's just he's refusing to.
Because it relaxes me. If you can't help me relax, then what am I to do?
You'll sign charges against him?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Good, arrest me.
Enemy action on zone.
And
That's a win.
I'll have it for my disability.
Okay. All right. Okay, you go to jail then.
For what?
For harassment.
For harassment for something that's using it for my disability?
Yeah, because you're being unruly. This is ridiculous.
How is it unruly?
I'm not going to argue with you. I don't have to. Get your lawyer to talk to me.
He doesn't have one anymore. He quit.
Yeah, I believe it. I know.
So I'm not allowed to have something to help me relax for my
Yeah,
disability?
You'll have to sign harassment charges against him,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good enough. We'll get that order of protection back in place, too.
So I can't have something to help me relax? Seriously?
You have reached
I asked
service
to have it for my... Never had this.
Transfer your call.
I'm calling my lawyer.
Stand up and put your hands behind your back.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Stand up and put your hands behind your back.
Hurting me?
Charged with resisting arrest.
I didn't do anything.
Stand up! Right now!
Hurting me.
Stand up.
Hurting me.
Stand up.
You're abusing me.
Well, that's what happened.
I want to die because you don't want to help me.
Put your hands
I want to fucking die first.
You put your hands behind your back.
You're gonna shoot me. You're gonna shoot me. You're gonna
Crisis services, this is Haley. How can I help you? Crisis services, this is Haley. How can I help you?
I need you to help me relax.
Hello? I can't hear what you're saying.
Relax.
Well, this is what happened.
Hello?
I asked you to shut it off.
I
You wouldn't do it.
need you to relax me.
Hello? There seems to be a problem with our connection. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911 or give us a call back. Services 24
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong other than to help me relax. And now my head hurts because of you. You hurt my head.
You want to do pepper spray?
I did nothing wrong.
Right now.
I did nothing wrong.
Behind your back.
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. The police are arresting me for my oil diffuser, my thing to help me relax. I want to die, please. I want to die because any can't have relaxation stuff to help me relax. I'm being discriminated against Officer Bentley. I want to die. I'm not good enough to have my oil diffuser to help me relax.
No need to
And my
keep a low
head
profile.
hurts. What?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm being arrested for my oil diffuser.
Why are you being
Neutralize
arrested
the
right
enemy
now?
For my
team.
oil
Right in your
diffuser.
wheelhouse,
Officer
agent.
Stephen Bentley's arresting me for my oil diffuser.
Refusing to put his hands behind his back, so now he's going to be charged with resisting
I didn't do anything other than have an oil diffuser on. Ma'am, I didn't have anything besides my oil diffuser on.
Are the police there now?
Yeah, Officer Stephen Bentley's trying to arrest me for my oil diffuser.
Why don't you speak with the officers that are there?
Because he's arresting me for my oil diffuser.
Okay.
He's arresting
abuser. He's arrested me for my own abuser. I don't want to. You're abusing me. You're abusing me. Stop. You're abusing me. Stop. You're abusing me. Stop. You're abusing me.
You're down, but never out, Agent. You got this.
You're abusing me. You're abusing me. I didn't do anything.
How someone can do this to their elderly mom is beyond me. However, it's very apparent Andy has a very clear disdain for his mother in particular. And I believe this is because she actually does require help and care unlike Andy. And so when she receives assistance from Andy's dad or brother, he feels personally slighted because that is help he should be receiving. On multiple occasions, Andrew's mother had fallen and couldn't get up. Instead of helping her, Andy decided to just film her struggling on the floor, not even offering an ounce of sympathy or care.
You fell on the floor.